The late 1950s were all about change in design, technology, and the way Americans lived. Ford knew it was time to move forward, and in 1957, it did something revolutionary. Gone were the old step-side beds and boxy panels. The new third-generation F-Series introduced flush-sided Styleside beds that looked futuristic. For their time, sleek, modern, and aerodynamic, this was no longer just a work truck. It was a fashion statement on wheels. The trucks looked smoother, drove better, and still carried Ford's reputation for strength. Underneath the beauty was pure muscle. Heavy-duty frames, new suspension systems, and better engines. And in 1959, Ford shocked the market again, offering four-wheel drive straight from the factory for the first time. It wasn't just innovation, it was identity. This was the moment when Build Ford Tough truly came to life. The year was 1957, and America was moving fast. Televisions were in every living room. Rock and roll ruled the airwaves, and cars were turning into expressions of freedom and style. Ford, watching this cultural revolution unfold, realized something important. Trucks couldn't stay plain and boxy forever. So when the third generation F-Series rolled out, it didn't just evolve, it transformed. The first thing people noticed was the body. Gone were the traditional step-side beds that stuck out from the rear. In their place came the new Styleside design, flush-sided panels that gave the truck a clean, aerodynamic shape. It looked futuristic, almost car-like, and completely unlike any pickup that came before. This single design change would redefine the way trucks looked for decades. For the first time, Ford blended utility with aesthetics, making a work truck that was just as stylish as it was strong. Under the hood, Ford continued to focus on performance. Buyers could choose from a range of engines, including straight sixes and V8 South. The 272 cubic inch Y-block V8 became a favorite, offering more horsepower and smoother performance than before. But the real story wasn't just power. It was how Ford made that power useful. The 1957 models came with stronger frames, better weight distribution, and improved suspension systems. Drivers immediately noticed the difference. The ride was smoother, the handling more controlled, and the trucks felt more refined for people who spent long hours on rough roads. This was a game changer. Inside, Ford designers completely reimagined the cabin. It was no longer just a metal box with a seat and a steering wheel. The new F-Series featured padded dashboards, improved gauges, and more comfortable seating, giving it a real automotive feel. Chrome accents and two-tone paint schemes made these trucks look almost luxurious, a clear sign that pickup trucks were becoming part of mainstream American life. Then came 1958, and Ford continued refining the formula. The company introduced subtle styling tweaks, a wider grille, dual headlights, and more chrome details. The front end looked bold, confident, and unmistakably American. Behind that grille sat dependable power, and beneath the sheet metal, Ford's build quality remained unmatched. But the most historic update came in 1959, when Ford offered four-wheel drive straight from the factory for the very first time. Until then, if you wanted a 4x4 truck, you had to get it converted by a third party, expensive and reliable, and hard to maintain. Ford's decision to offer factory-built for WD changed everything. It opened new markets. Farmers, ranchers, construction workers, and adventurers finally had a rugged, go-anywhere option straight from the dealership. This innovation cemented Ford's reputation for building trucks that could tackle anything, whether it was mud, snow, or desert trails. The F-Series proved it was ready, and it wasn't just about capability. It was about confidence. Drivers felt unstoppable behind the wheel of a Ford. Ford marketing took note. Around this time, the slogan "Built Ford Tough" began appearing in ads and brochures. It perfectly captured what people already believed. Ford trucks weren't just machines, they were partners. dependable, strong, and always ready to work. In 1960, Ford closed the decade with one of its most advanced F-Series yet. The body had more refined lines, the interiors were even more comfortable, and the engineering continued to improve. Trucks had evolved from tools into everyday vehicles, appealing to both workers and families alike. The third-generation F-Series had done something extraordinary. It bridged the gap between utility and design, function and beauty. Ford's flush-sided Styleside body not only improved aerodynamics, but also influenced truck design for the next 60 years, even. Today's F-1500 owes its shape to that 1957 leap forward. But perhaps the most lasting legacy of this generation was emotional. These trucks represented a new kind of pride. Owning a Ford meant owning a piece of America's progress. It was the truck that worked on the farm during the week and took the family to church on Sunday. It was durable enough to haul loads yet refined enough to take your date to the drive-in. Collectors today still cherish the 1957 to 1960 F-Series for its classic styling and pioneering innovations. The 1959 4x4 models, in particular, are icons of vintage toughness. Restored examples fetch high prices at auctions, not just because of rarity, but because they represent the moment Ford truly became the leader in the pickup world. So when people hear "built for tough," they might think of modern commercials, roaring engines, and big chrome grilles. But the truth is, that phrase was born in this very era, when Ford dared to blend design, innovation, and raw durability into one unforgettable machine. From 1957 to 1960, the Ford F-Series didn't just evolve. It set the tone for everything that came next. It proved that even in a world of change, one thing would always remain the same: Ford trucks were built to last.